Isak to Barcelona? Latest transfer twist. 4 free agents Liverpool could sign. Liverpool's biggest transfer mistake? Jeremy Jacquet officially unveiled. Liverpool midfielder admits it's time to leave. World Cup boost for Andoni Iraola. Mohamed Salah transfer update. Curtis Jones' future takes another twist. Hello and welcome back to LFC ECHO Daily, your trusted source for the latest Liverpool FC news, transfer updates, and breaking stories from Anfield and beyond. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe, like today's video, turn on notifications, and share your opinions in the comments. Your support helps our channel bring you Liverpool news every single day. Now, let's get into today's updates. Barcelona waiting for a sign in extraordinary Alexander Isak deal attempt. Last year, Liverpool spent around £450 million on new players. It was to no great effect as the defending Premier League champions slumped from 1st to 5th place. The Reds struggled to get a return out of top signings like Alexander Isak and Florian Wirtz. Isak, 26, cost a British record £125 million from Newcastle, but endured a nightmare campaign. Wirtz, on the other hand, cost a fee that could reach £116 million from Bayer Leverkusen, and his Anfield career is still waiting to catch light. Isak broke his leg in December, and by the end of the season had scored only 4 goals. Sporting director Richard Hughes will be expecting a lot more bang for his buck, especially if the Sweden striker sticks around for the duration of his 6-year contract. Barcelona want opportunistic deal for Isak. There are, however, signs on the horizon that Liverpool may soon be facing up to the prospect of cutting their losses on Isak. Barcelona are reported to have been scouting the number 9 at the FIFA World Cup, where Sweden got knocked out by France at the round of 32 stage. Isak has experienced a mini revival at the North American tournament, scoring once and providing a trio of assists for his national team. And now Jacquet has claimed that Isak has once again emerged as a potential market opportunity for Barcelona, who missed out on signing him a couple of years ago. Barcelona want encouragement from Isak. Barca believe that Isak's plummeting value, said to be around €85 million these days, opens the door slightly to a deal. The Catalans have got Robert Lewandowski's hefty wages off the books and are believed to have the firepower to finance a major deal this summer. The report claims Barca decision-makers are now waiting for a signal from Isak in order to activate the deal, fully aware that such an operation is not going to be easy to pull off. Alexander Isak has once again emerged as a transfer target for FC Barcelona after a World Cup in which Sweden put him back in the spotlight. The report reads, the 26-year-old Liverpool striker was reportedly scouted live by Barcelona representatives during his matches with the Swedish national team. That price drop doesn't make the operation easy, but it does open a window that seemed impossible a year ago. FC Barcelona isn't in a position to enter an uncontrolled bidding war, although it can make a move if it detects that the player wants a change of scenery. Isak's Liverpool future still looks secure. It would be surprising in the extreme if Liverpool decided to give up on Isak at this early stage. He was without a decent pre-season last year, arriving unfit, and it took him a long time to build up his match fitness. With a decent pre-season under his belt alongside new head coach Andoni Iraola, we could soon see Isak back at his swashbuckling best. If and when that happens, there is little chance of the outgoing Premier League champions bidding farewell. In another news, 4 free agents Liverpool can sign with Andoni Iraola's transfer priority clear. The scramble to secure football's most sought-after free agents is officially underway. Whether a player actively pursued free agency or was simply not offered a fresh contract by their club, there are a host of top-class stars available without the need to splash out on a transfer fee. Andoni Iraola has taken the reins at Liverpool and has already got his first piece of summer business done, bringing in Victor Munoz for £35 million. The Spaniard will undoubtedly be keen to add further reinforcements ahead of his debut season in charge. The 43-year-old's approach marks a stark departure from Arne Slot's methods, and he'll look to shape his squad to get the best out of their talents. With his first taste of Champions League football on the horizon, Iraola will surely be backed in the transfer market. though there are also some shrewd deals to be done among the free agents. There are clear gaps in Liverpool's squad, particularly following the exits of Mohamed Salah, Andy Robertson and Ibrahima Konate. Revamping the attack remains the top priority, though the defence and midfield are also in need of strengthening. Here are 4 top-quality players who became available on Wednesday, July 1st. Julian Brandt. Familiar to many Liverpool supporters as the player Jurgen Klopp had his eye on before being persuaded to sign Mohamed Salah instead, Julian Brandt is on the market for nothing after bringing an end to his 7-year stint at Borussia Dortmund. The 29-year-old, who can function as both an attacking midfielder and winger, could offer crucial versatility in the forward areas for Iraola, with no Salah available and the possible departure of Federico Chiesa. With 12 years of experience in the Bundesliga and over 80 Champions League appearances to his name, Brandt's blend of know-how and quality means he won't be short of suitors, with Leeds United reportedly exploring a move for the attacker. Dani Carvajal. The Spaniard's storied Real Madrid career, spanning more than 450 appearances and 6 Champions League triumphs, has reached its conclusion. The 34-year-old is undoubtedly in the latter stages of his playing days, but the commitment and winning mentality that powered him through 13 years in the white-hot atmosphere of the Santiago Bernabeu clearly endure. A right-back could feature on Iraola's shopping list this summer, given the fitness concerns surrounding Conor Bradley and Jeremy Frimpong. While Trent Alexander-Arnold departed Anfield for the Spanish capital, one of Madrid's most cherished figures could make the reverse journey. Leon Goretzka. Another player previously touted with a switch to Liverpool, the Germany midfielder could finally opt to join the Reds. Following 8 years and 17 major trophies secured with Bayern Munich, Goretzka is now available on a free transfer. The 31-year-old is fresh from a humiliating World Cup exit following his nation's penalty shootout defeat to Paraguay and will be weighing up his next career move. Yet to play outside his native Germany, he has previously acknowledged his desire to experience football elsewhere. He said, "Maybe it's my last chance to go abroad. I really want to play truly competitive football again. We'll see what opportunities come up. I'm completely relaxed about it. I'll just let it all happen." Dusan Vlahovic. The Serbian's 4.5-year stint at Juventus yielded a decent tally of 68 goals in 168 appearances, though he never truly set pulses racing during his time in Turin. Having failed to reach an agreement over a new deal, the 26-year-old is poised for a fresh challenge, with his peak years almost certainly ahead of him. The Reds currently have Alexander Isak as their sole fit centre-forward, with Hugo Ekitike expected to remain sidelined for the opening half of the campaign. Landing Vlahovic could prove an astute piece of business, though the striker will hardly be short of interest, with the likes of Barcelona and Besiktas also reportedly circling. In another news, Liverpool plans something even more stupid than failed Yan Diomande assault. Liverpool appear ready to do something stupid, even more stupid than publicly failing for Yan Diomande. Liverpool embarrassed themselves with their failed pursuit of Yan Diomande. The Ivorian was publicly made their priority target for the summer, only for it then to look pretty clear that he never wanted to go to Anfield. It leaves them in an incredibly difficult position, trying to replace Mohamed Salah on the right flank with no good options to do it with. We're legitimately not sure what they'll do. There's no obvious signing here. Making it public that they wanted Diomande was stupid. Every other target now knows they're a plan B, while it makes Liverpool look like a subpar destination to so openly fail like this. It's essentially the opposite of the Florian Wirtz chase a year ago. And yet, it seems Liverpool are going to do something even worse. They've got a transfer plan in mind that we fully believe will become a massive regret. Liverpool have got into this summer believing they should sell Curtis Jones. The Scouser has 1 year remaining on his contract, and the Reds have entirely failed to convince the boyhood fan to renew on their terms. In fact, there was essentially no talk of a possible renew, and it feels as though Liverpool barely tried. That's a decision which will cost them an incredible amount of money, largely because their asking price is simply ridiculous. Liverpool are willing to let a homegrown midfielder one who happens to be outperforming every other midfielder at the club, for under €40 million. Why? We're honestly not sure. Jones will almost certainly be worth twice that within a year, maybe even 6 months. It's one that we fully expect will come back to bite Liverpool, and it won't paint them in a positive light whatsoever. In another news, Jacquet officially unveiled as Liverpool player. A big dream for me. Jacquet has completed his £60 million move to Liverpool from Rennes, with the 20-year-old officially unveiled after his contract began on July 1st. Liverpool agreed a deal worth an initial £55 million with Rennes in January, but Jacquet's switch to Anfield was delayed until the end of the season. An unfortunate shoulder injury ruled him out of the remainder of the campaign with the French club soon after, but he has now recovered ahead of pre-season with Liverpool. With July 1st marking the start of his contract, the young centre-back was unveiled on Wednesday morning. His squad number is as yet unconfirmed, though he could be expected to take the number 5 vacated by Ibrahima Konate upon his free transfer to Real Madrid. Liverpool negotiated a further £5 million in add-ons with Rennes, which could bring the deal to a total of £60 million if various targets are met. It makes Jacquet the 8th most expensive signing in the club's history and positions him as immediate successor to Konate as Virgil van Dijk's first-choice partner. Jacquet's first words as a Liverpool player. It's a big dream. Speaking to LFC TV upon the completion of his move to Liverpool, Jacquet said, "Of course, I am very excited to be next to a great player like Van Dijk. I think he is up there with the best centre-backs in the world currently, so I can only learn from him. I don't like to use the word idol, not even for the best players I admire, but naturally he's a player I look up to. For me, he is one of the best central defenders, and if I want to reach the very top, I've got to absorb as much as I can from him, obviously." Though Jacquet conducted the majority of his interview in his native French, he added in English, "I'm very excited to join Liverpool. For me, it's a big dream. It's a big club. A club like Liverpool, it's a big dream for me." Jacquet is one of 3 players to have already joined Liverpool this summer, with Spanish winger Victor Munoz arriving from Osasuna for £34.5 million and £2.6 million academy defender Ifeanyi Ndukwe joining from Austria Vienna. In another news, game over as Liverpool midfielder admits it's time to leave. Liverpool have got big changes coming down the track this summer in midfield. The latest midfield name associated with an Anfield arrival is Morocco international Ayoub Bouadi. The 18-year-old joins the likes of Alex Scott, Adam Wharton and Aurelien Tchouameni on Richard Hughes's wish list. And in order for new faces in midfield to be accommodated, there are going to have to be some sacrifices. Liverpool tipped to sell midfielders. We could see a move concluded for Alexis McAllister, with the Argentina international out of contract in 2028 and no agreement close over a new deal. But the most pressing issue is undoubtedly Curtis Jones. The 25-year-old has been linked with the exit since January, when Inter Milan and Tottenham came to the fore for his signature. He stayed put through to the end of the season, but with a contract expiring in 2027, this will be Liverpool's last chance to cash in. Jones considers his Liverpool career over. A report in Court Offside is now claiming that Jones considers his career at Anfield as over, and previously it has been reported that he had already agreed a 5-year contract with Inter. Incredibly skilled Liverpool player considers his time at Anfield as over, the report reads. Right now the deal is at a stalemate, as the Italian champions will not meet Richard Hughes' £35 million asking price. Jones is in limbo, with Premier League interest said to be coming from Nottingham Forest, Spurs once again, and Arsenal. And a contender from Italy in the form of Juventus could also come into the reckoning. Jones could be set for shock Juventus move. Jones has interest in leaving, but Liverpool will not be pushed into accepting a cut-price deal, the report reads. Juventus entering the race adds another layer to the story. The Turin club are also watching the situation, although financial restrictions could make it difficult for them to match Liverpool's valuation. Juve missed out on UEFA Champions League football for next season, which in turn is having a knock-on effect for their transfer business. The Turin giants are having to cut their cloth accordingly, meaning satisfying a £35 million demand for Jones, as well as servicing a hefty contract, may be beyond their financial reach. That won't do much to satisfy Jones, who considers his days as a Liverpool player to be over. In another news, Andoni Iraola gets bittersweet World Cup boost as Liverpool stars likely to join US tour. Liverpool manager Andoni Iraola is set to receive a major, albeit bittersweet, boost for the Reds' stateside pre-season tour after a handful of his players were eliminated from the World Cup earlier than expected. Iraola's squad is expected to reconvene around July 13th in preparation for the 2026-27 campaign, which begins with a Premier League fixture away at Newcastle United on Sunday, August 23rd. Liverpool's opening friendly of the pre-season, meanwhile, will be against Sunderland on July 25th at Geodis Park in Nashville, Tennessee. While fans and pundits alike initially believed that Iraola would be without the large majority of Liverpool's World Cup representatives for at least the beginning of the club's US tour, shocking upsets in the quadrennial tournament have suddenly changed things. In Monday's round of 32 clash, Paraguay secured its first ever World Cup knockout victory, defeating Florian Wirtz and Germany 4-3 in a penalty shootout, after the match ended 1-1 following extra time. The thrilling encounter ranked as the fourth biggest upset in the tournament's knockout stage history based on FIFA rankings, with Paraguay sitting 37th compared to Germany's 12th place heading into the match. Several hours later, the Netherlands, whose squad boasted several Liverpool stars, including Virgil van Dijk, Ryan Gravenberch and Cody Gakpo, fell to Morocco on penalties following a 1-1 draw, with the North African country equalising in the 91st minute before winning the sudden death shootout 3-2. Then, on Tuesday, Alexander Isak's Sweden was ousted from the World Cup upon falling to France 3-0. The trio of outcomes will now see Wirtz, Van Dijk, Gravenberch, Gakpo and Isak likely return to Liverpool's pre-season camp in time for the Reds' friendly versus Sunderland. Players tend to receive 3 weeks off after wrapping up their appearance in a major summer tournament, which means the aforementioned players would be expected back around July 22nd. Upon completing initial testing, the players will gradually ramp up while being brought back into the fold during Liverpool's pre-season matches. Wirtz, Van Dijk, Gravenberch, Gakpo and Isak could even feature against Sunderland, with their minutes carefully managed by Iraola. If all goes well, they would log more minutes in the second friendly against Wrexham at Yankee Stadium in New York City, then 45 minutes versus Leeds in Liverpool's third pre-season match at Soldier Field in Chicago. Liverpool would undoubtedly benefit from more time together as a complete squad, coming off an underwhelming season, during which the Reds finished trophyless and secured a Champions League spot by just 3 points. Dominik Szoboszlai, Milos Kerkez, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Joe Gomez, Jeremy Frimpong, Federico Chiesa and Rio Ungamoha are all expected to be featured in the first group, with Giovanni Leone and Jeremy Jacquet additionally slated to return from long-term injuries. In another news, Mohamed Salah's next move takes new twist as big voice behind transfer leaves role. Mohamed Salah, joining the Saudi Pro League, could have taken a huge twist after Michael Emenalo announced his exit as the league's chief football executive. The former Chelsea technical director has spoken publicly about wanting Salah in the Middle East, with his departure possibly impacting where the former Liverpool star heads next. The 34-year-old left Anfield at the conclusion of the 2025-26 season by mutual consent, despite signing a 2-year contract 12 months ago following his stunning displays in Liverpool's title-winning campaign. Having rejected a lucrative move to Saudi Arabia during his prime years on Merseyside, Salah is largely expected to join former teammates Sadio Mane and Fabinho, who are currently in West Asia representing Al Nassr and Al Ittihad, respectively. However, that may not be as guaranteed as it once was, with Emenalo moving on after 3 years in his role for the Saudi Pro League, as revealed by The Athletic. During that period, he spoke fondly about Salah, with it clear he wanted the Egypt international to make the switch. Back in October 2024, he said, "I think it depends on Mo. The stories that our teams went after him were true. It is true that there was an interest. But just like Victor Osimhen, it's okay for me to have an interest in signing Mo, but the club have to have an interest in letting him go. And if those things don't align, you don't have a deal. Fundamentally, Liverpool didn't want to sell. And what price were we willing to buy at? We don't want to buy at a ridiculous amount. The most important part is if the player is ready to come. I didn't feel the player was ready to come because he felt like he had unfinished business. Very few players do it, but you have to leave the club in the right way. When you are at that level and you have done things, it's important to leave the club in the right way. Al Ittihad were the Saudi club that launched the mega money offer a few years ago, with that seemingly Salah's most likely destination. Now he is officially a free agent. A move to the MLS or Turkey is also a possibility, while returning to Serie A could be on Salah's mind, having played for Fiorentina and AS Roma. Joining the latter would also offer him the chance to keep playing Champions League football. However, nothing will have been definitively decided just yet, with Salah currently at the World Cup. Egypt face Australia on Friday in the round of 32, with the winner of that facing either Argentina or Cape Verde. In another news, Liverpool could see new signing in action at World Cup for first time after Boost. Liverpool now have just 3 players left competing at the World Cup. Florian Wirtz, representing Germany, alongside Virgil van Dijk, Ryan Gravenberch and Cody Gakpo with the Netherlands, were eliminated via penalty shootouts in the round of 32 against Paraguay and Morocco respectively, while Alexander Isak and Sweden were comprehensively beaten 3-0 by France. However, Alisson Becker has progressed to the last 16 with Brazil, and Alexis McAllister is anticipated to join his Anfield colleague there, with holders Argentina expected to comfortably overcome Cape Verde on Friday. The remaining Reds representative at the World Cup is their only summer acquisition to date, Victor Munoz. Yet fans haven't been afforded the opportunity to see the new £34.5 million signing from Osasuna in action, as the winger was sidelined from Spain's Group H fixtures due to injury. Spain secured top spot in the group following victories against Saudi Arabia and Uruguay, while unexpectedly being held to a stalemate by Cape Verde, who will be aiming to cause an even greater upset later this week, reports the Liverpool Echo. The European champions now face Austria tomorrow, Thursday, for a spot in the last 16, and Munoz could be in contention. The 22-year-old has participated in training sessions with the Spain squad in Chattanooga as they prepare for the Los Angeles encounter. It remains highly doubtful that Munoz will feature from the start against Austria, given he has only recently returned to full training. Nevertheless, his comeback will provide a significant lift to manager Luis de la Fuente, who is left with Barcelona superstar Lamine Yamal as his sole wide option, following injuries to both Nico Williams and Yeremy Pino during the match against Uruguay. Ahead of that fixture, Munoz spoke candidly about his frustration at being denied his maiden World Cup appearance and the vital role played by Spain national team psychologist Javier López Vallejo. He said, "We were carrying it, the injury, but I noticed a discomfort and we are trying to resume the process to be on the field as soon as possible. They have been very complicated moments because this is the dream of a child, and seeing that it can be twisted by an injury annoys you a lot. Both abroad and here with Javi I have my talks. It helps me a lot. It helps me to see another perspective of everything that happens here. It's a pleasure to have him. My teammates have been a fundamental pillar for me to be eager every day. The World Cup is the only thing I think about. It's a dream, and I want to be on the pitch as soon as possible." Munoz became Andoni Iraola's first acquisition earlier this month, when Liverpool activated his £34.5 million release clause at Osasuna, edging out Premier League rivals Newcastle United in the race for his signature. In another news, Curtis Jones reluctant to join Premier League club who could now lose manager. Curtis Jones is reportedly reluctant to indulge Nottingham Forest's interest in a transfer this summer, which is understandable given their managerial situation. While Jones is considering a move away from Liverpool, having entered the final year of his contract, a switch to Premier League strugglers Forest is not on the cards. That is despite interest from the City ground, with the Liverpool Echo's Ian Doyle describing Jones as reluctant. The 25-year-old has already been subject of 2 unsuccessful bids from Inter Milan, with their sporting director Piero Ausilio appearing to rule out a further offer earlier this week. But it remains to be seen if Jones will be a Liverpool player beyond the summer, with a decision likely to hinge on his talks with Andoni Iraola during pre-season. Forest's interest comes after agreeing a deal worth at least £116 million to sell Elliot Anderson to Man City, with Tottenham's Lucas Bergvall and Inter's Davide Fratesi also targets. However, there is now more uncertainty at the club, with Fabrizio Romano reporting on X that head coach Vitor Pereira could now leave. This comes following reports from BBC Sport's Nick Masheter that talks over a new contract had been put on hold last month. Pereira only joined Forest in February, replacing Sean Dyche to become their 4th head coach in a troubled season that saw him steer them narrowly away from relegation. But the City ground is renowned as a turbulent environment, not least due to the demands of controversial owner Evangelos Marinakis. The pair hold a relationship dating back to Pereira's role at Olympiacos, but the Portuguese could now feasibly consider interest from Al Hilal. It stands to reason that Jones would not be eager to join Forest for a number of factors, not least as it would represent a major step down from his position at Liverpool, where he remains a regular starter. Talks are not ongoing over an extension to his contract at Anfield, but it has been suggested that an offer may be forthcoming if the number 17 stays beyond the current transfer window. Jones will be among the first to report back for pre-season under new head coach Iraola at the AXA training centre later this month, having been overlooked for Thomas Tuchel's England squad for the World Cup. That's all for today's Liverpool update. Which story do you think will have the biggest impact on Liverpool's season? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Liverpool news. Thanks for watching LFC ECHO Daily. We'll see you in the next video. You'll never walk alone.